Welcome to Boring History for Sleep, where we take you back in time to when humans were basically just monkeys with rocks. Today, we are going to go way back to a time when life was really boring, but also kind of exciting. Because today, we're talking about when humans discovered fire. That's right, the one thing that would eventually lead to the invention of pizza ovens, barbecues, fireplace man, and a bunch of other stuff. It's such an integral part of our lives. And it's all because some monkey with a rock called Homo erectus tripped over a burning bush and decided to get cozy next to it. Well, not exactly. Let's see how things went down. 500,000 years ago, Homo erectus was living their best life in Africa. Now at this point in history, Homo erectus was the big dog, so to speak. They were the top dog, the big cheese, the cat's meow, the bee's knees, the peaches and cream, if you know what I mean. But they weren't doing too hot overall. See, Homo erectus was the first human ancestor to have the brains that we more or less have now. And with that came a lot of perks. You know, bigger brain means smarter human. With that newfound smarts, Homo erectus was able to spread out across the entire continent of Africa and beyond. This is also when they started making tools like axes, knives and spears. They were hunting big game like hippos and buffalo. And they were even migrating into Europe. In fact, they were doing so well, it seemed like nothing could stop them. But there was a problem. Their bodies hadn't caught up to their brains yet. Sure, they had the brains of modern humans, but they still had the body of an ape. They were hairy, short and hunched over. Not to mention Homo erectus was active during the Pleistocene epoch, which is the same epoch that gave us the Ice Age. So yeah, these guys were living through some pretty brutal winters. And during times like that, having a bigger brain isn't always a benefit. In fact, it can be a detriment. See, bigger brains need more energy to function, and that energy needs to come from somewhere. During times of famine, Homo erectus may have resorted to cannibalism just to survive. And while that's a topic that's way too taboo for our show, rest assured we will talk about it in the future. In any case, despite the occasional bouts of extreme cold, Homo erectus was thriving and spreading throughout the old world. They were hunting large animals, scavenging for food and probably getting into fistfights with other Homo erectus over said food. And it was during one of these hunts that Homo erectus made contact with the most powerful force in the universe, fire. Now, there's a few different theories on how Homo erectus came upon this discovery. The accidental theory is the one that most scientists subscribe to, and the idea is simple enough. Some Homo erectus stumbled upon a natural fire, perhaps started by lightning, or maybe a volcano. When they realized that they could stay warm and cook their food near this fire, they began to associate the two. Eventually, they figured out how to start fires themselves, either by rubbing two sticks together or by using a bow drill, which involves drilling a hole into a piece of wood using a stick and a bow. Either way, once they learned to harness the power of fire, there was no going back. It's believed that the first controlled fire was used by Homo erectus at least 1 million years ago, and since then, fire has been an integral part of human culture. But it wasn't exactly love at first sight. You see, early humans didn't jump for joy when they first saw that fire. In fact, they were probably terrified of it. Fire was scary, dangerous and unpredictable. It was something to be feared, not cozied up to, but after some time, they got used to it. They learned how to control it and make it work for them. And before long, they were using fire for everything. First and foremost, fire kept them warm at night and during the winter months. Living in the Stone Age was no walk in the park, especially during the Ice Age. There were harsh winters and very little shelter. But with the help of fire, humans could stay warm and safe. In addition to providing warmth, fire also provided light. Before electricity, fire was the best way to light up the darkness. Of course, it wasn't like turning on a switch, but it was enough to ward off some of the dangers that lurked in the shadows. Another great benefit of fire was its ability to drive away predators. Animals like wolves and hyenas are known to steer clear of fire, so by having a fire, humans could protect themselves from harm. Plus, cooking was a game changer. Humans could now cook their food, which made it taste better and easier to digest. Cooking also killed off harmful bacteria, which made food safer to eat. As a result, humans who ate cooked food were healthier and stronger than those who didn't. It's no wonder why cooking is one of the most important aspects of human culture. Now, it's not to say that life was suddenly great for Homo erectus, don't get me wrong. Their lives were still filled with danger, famine, and disease. But the addition of fire did make things a little bit easier. It allowed them to thrive in new environments and adapt to new ways of life. In a way, fire was one of the first tools that humans used. Just think about it. A tool is anything that helps humans accomplish a task. And what does fire do? It helps humans accomplish a bunch of tasks: warmth, light, and protection from predators. All of these things help humans survive. And that's what a tool does. It helps us survive. So in a way, fire was the first tool that humans used, the first step in our long line of technological advancements. And here's the crazy thing. We don't really know what sparked that spark. Scientists have a theory about how humans learned to control fire, but they haven't actually witnessed it happening. Maybe it was a bolt of lightning that struck a tree and caused it to burst into flames. Or maybe it was a volcano that erupted and created a fire so big that humans couldn't help but notice. Whatever the case may be, we'll never know for sure. Which is a shame, because it would be really cool to know how our ancestors discovered fire. Not only that, but we'll never know how the first Homo erectus reacted when they first saw fire. Were they scared, excited, curious? We'll never know. But I like to think that they were curious. I like to think that the first thing they did when they saw fire was to investigate it, to try to figure out what it was and how it worked. Because that's the kind of people we are. We're curious, we're explorers, we're always looking for answers. And that's what makes us human. I hope you enjoyed learning about the discovery of fire. It's a fascinating part of human history, and I am glad we got to share it with you. Now it's time to go. I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.